What's going on, everyone? In this video, we're doing a deep dive for Season 1, Episode 10 of House of the Dragon, titled The Black Queen. This is the season finale, and it's an absolute banger. We did breakdowns for all the other episodes in this season, got links in the description, so check those out if you haven't already. This episode is really about the race between the Greens and the Blacks to secure as many allies as they can, and as we saw in the last episode, the Greens have the head start. Rhaenys does pull up to Dragonstone and drops all of the news to Rhaenyra. Aegon taking her throne, Viserys dying, all that stuff. It's not a great time for Rhaenyra to receive this news since she's actually very pregnant, and the stress of hearing this bullshit causes her to have a miscarriage. This is going down while Daemon gathers the rest of the squad and tries to go over initial war plans. Rhaenyra also calls her two oldest sons, Jace and Luke, over to break the news to them. The boys will have to grow up fast since it's now time for war. Rhaenyra says Jace needs to follow all of her commands. We do get some positive news though. Somehow Corlys' fever has gotten better and he's now on the move. I think he's still unconscious though. Jace interrupts the war meeting to tell Daemon that Rhaenyra's command is for everyone to stay put. Daemon ignores him and tells Jace to follow him. Daemon has summoned two veteran members of the Kingsguard before him. These guys were around for Jaehaerys and Viserys. He gives them a choice: swear a new oath to Rhaenyra as queen or be melted by Caraxes. However, if they do swear loyalty to Rhaenyra and then later on turn on her, Daemon assures them that their death won't be quick and painless. Rhaenyra ends up handling the pregnancy by herself. She reaches inside and pulls out the dead baby. My goodness, this is one tough
white bitch.
Daemon showing Jace his test of loyalty, I guess, is the first step in him waking up to the harsh realities in front of Rhaenyra's side. It's also showing Daemon's familiar reliance on brutality and force as a leader. Rhaenyra's previous scene isn't the first time the show has interspersed intense moments with a distressed childbirth.
The good news for Rhaenyra is that she survived a potentially fatal pregnancy. The bad news is that she has just lost a child. A funeral is held, and this is where our boy E pulls up. He's defected from the Hightower side, rescued Rhaenys, and somehow managed to find a way to grab Viserys' crown. Incredibly touching moment when he presents the crown, and then Daemon places it on Rhaenyra's head, and everyone else bends the knee except for Rhaenys, but whatever, it's fine because we know that Rhaenys is going to end up rolling with her anyways.
Big E coming through with Viserys' old crown shows that more support could be on the horizon and that there still might be a legitimate path to the throne for Rhaenyra. It's a moment of hope, which isn't always a good thing as we find out later.
Yeah, it's a dope-ass mini coronation for Rhaenyra, but now it's time to get back to business. Rhaenyra asks what their army is looking like. Daemon has taken over as their main war general, by the way. So they have 30 knights, 100 crossbowmen, and 300 men at arms. They can defend Dragonstone, but don't have enough to conquer King's Landing. Although they already have a few known allies on their side, securing more will be necessary. There are some unknowns right now with the Aarons in the Vale, the Tullys in Riverrun, the Starks in Winterfell, and the Baratheons in Storm's End. As for the Valyrians, Rhaenys says that Corlys is on his way to Dragonstone right now, so they'll await his decision. As for known enemies, the Lannisters will 100% side with the Greens. In terms of dragon power, Rhaenyra's side has 3 adult dragons, Syrax, Caraxes, and Meleys, as well as the 3 dragons that Rhaenyra's sons have, plus Baela's dragon Moondancer, making it 7 total dragons under their control. The Greens only have 3 adult dragons, but one of them is Vhagar, so that's gonna be tough. There are unclaimed dragons. Laenor's dragon Sea Smoke is still at Driftmark. Vermithor and Silverwing are riderless, but here at Dragonstone. And there's also 3 wild dragons that nest here at Dragonstone as well. So that's 13 potential dragons compared to the Greens, who only have 4. I think Alicent has a 4th child who we haven't been introduced yet, or something like that.
Daemon's been waiting on this moment for a long time. Rhaenyra hesitates. This might be a holdover of her father's warning against investing too much in the strength of one's dragons. At this point though, what choice is there? The process of figuring out how to leverage the riderless dragons could be what makes or breaks this effort. Does Rhaenys get another shot?
Anyways, this meeting is then interrupted by Otto's arrival at Dragonstone. Similar to many years ago, Otto and Daemon meet at the Dragonstone Bridge again. Otto delivers the message from Alicent: acknowledge Aegon as king, bend the knee, and Rhaenyra will get to keep Dragonstone. Lucerys will be the heir to Driftmark, and Rhaenyra and Daemon's sons will get good positions in Aegon's court. These terms are insulting to Rhaenyra. She calls Otto and the rest of the men traitors, but Otto then hands her something from Alicent. It was the page from the book that Rhaenyra ripped out back when they were 15 in that garden. This gesture from Alicent works on Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra tells Otto that King's Landing will have her answer tomorrow.
On the one hand, she's playing at sentimentalities. On the other hand, the story is about a queen who conquered many lands and was successful, so perhaps it's going to have the opposite effect on Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra is hesitant to enter into war. She wants to keep peace, but the rest of the men, including Daemon, are surprised at this. They think she's naive, and I gotta agree. Rhaenyra tells them to clear the room so she can talk to Daemon 1v1. She brings up Viserys' dream, a song of ice and fire. This pisses Daemon off and he gets violent with her. Daemon doesn't believe in dreams and visions. He thinks it's the dragons that made the Targaryens kings. Rhaenyra then realizes that Viserys never told Daemon about the dream.
Otto states the case and also confirms his little long game plot that's been clear from the start. These terms are shit, but Daemon's reaction is over the top. Simple no would have been fine. There's a reason that Daemon wasn't named the true heir. He turns it up way too quickly. Viserys never telling Daemon about the Song of Ice and Fire means that Viserys didn't even see the point. He knew it would have been futile.
That same night, Corlys finally awakens from his fever and gets the updates on everything he's missed. Learning of Vaemon's death hits him hard, but he understands that Vaemon brought it upon himself. He admits that Rhaenys was right about his ambition, and he now thinks it's pointless. Fuck the Iron Throne, Corlys just wants to retire to high tide and stay neutral. But this time Rhaenys is the one who's like, nah, we gotta support Rhaenyra. To Rhaenys, Rhaenyra is the only one who isn't rushing to go into war. Plus, Rhaenys still cares about the safety of her grandchildren, even if some of them aren't biologically hers.
She also sees what Rhaenyra brings to the table. Rhaenyra's energy is not scorched earth right now. She's the best shot at peace in the realm. After the war, of course. Rhaenys is also aligned with Rhaenyra after last episode, so it's best for their house as well. She constantly serves as a force to temper Corlys' rash instincts.
Anyways, Corlys ends up arriving at the next day's war meeting and declares full support from the Valyrians. This is a huge dub from Rhaenyra. On top of that, Corlys says that he has successfully secured the Stepstones. Unlike previously, he's actually reinforced the entire area with troops this time and says that they can undertake a blockade of all shipping lanes to King's Landing. Rhaenys will oversee the blockade. This is huge since cutting off supplies would seriously weaken the Greens. Having the Valyrian support is huge, but more steps still need to be taken. Rhaenyra says she won't be the first to strike in this war, but she will start to figure out who her allies are. This brings us back to the Starks in Winterfell, the Arryns in the Eyrie, and the Baratheons in Storm's End. Jace volunteers to deliver the message, and his mission will be the following. Fly north to the Eyrie to see Rhaenyra's mom's cousin, the Lady Jane Arryn, to see if they can get her support. Then Jace will fly to Winterfell to engage with Lord Cregan Stark to gain the North support. Luke will fly south to Storm's End to try and get Lord Boros Baratheon's support. Rhaenyra knows that sending her young sons is dangerous, but ultimately it's wartime, so everyone needs to sack up. She gives a pregame speech to her two sons. They must swear to not engage in any fighting while they are on this messenger mission. Both sons swear to do it. Cregan Stark is a young lord, so Rhaenyra hopes that Jace can find some common interest with him. As for Luke, Boros Baratheon is a proud man, so Rhaenyra says he'll probably treat Luke warmly. Yeah, we'll see about that. Meanwhile, Daemon remains solely focused on assembling as many nukes as they can. He knows that dragons are the key to this war. You're gonna need an army of dragons to deal with Vhagar alone. He finds one of the riderless dragons, Vermithor, as mentioned earlier, and sings a Valyrian song to it. Vermithor is apparently the dragon of Daemon and Viserys' grandfather, the old King Jaehaerys. Now, a rider can only bond to one dragon, so Daemon can't ride Vermithor. However, by exposing Vermithor to human contact, he can get the dragon ready for someone else to ride it. Also, Vermithor is apparently the second largest dragon alive after Vhagar. So we follow Luke as he flies with his young dragon Arryx into Storm's End. They pull up to the castle and we see that Vhagar is already there. This shot truly shows how fucking big Vhagar is. That thing is the size of a shopping mall. What the fuck? Luke's got some big ass balls because I would have dipped out of there so quick. Call me a coward, a pussy, a loser. I don't care. I'm not fighting against a flying shopping mall. Luke walks in and makes his pitch to Boros. Boros simply doesn't look like a good guy. He's already heard Aemon's pitch. Boros also can't read, so he needs a Meister to read Rhaenyra's written message to him. This is bad. Rhaenyra's offer also isn't good. She merely reminds Boros of his father's oath. Rhaenyra is giving me some major Genie Bus vibes here. At least the Greens offered Boros a marriage pact with one of his 3 daughters. Luke is already betrothed, so no marriage pact can be offered from his end. The Greens have planned better than the Blacks so far. Boros tells Luke to go home, but before he walks out, Aemon tries to start a fight with Luke. He demands that Luke cut his eye to make things even from years ago when Luke took Aemon's eye. Lord Boros shuts down any potential violence and has Luke escorted to his dragon. Luke quickly jumps on Arix and they fly off. Arix is super nervous because of the presence of Vhagar. They fly off, but the storm is so heavy and visibility is poor. Aemon trails them with Vhagar, and now the chase is on. Arix is too young and small to easily fly through these winds, making it easy for Aemon and Vhagar to toy with Luke. Luke has Arix fly low through these cliffs where Vhagar is too big to go. Things seem fine for a moment, but Luke can't fully control his dragon, so Arix ends up blasting Vhagar with fire. The fire does nothing but piss Vhagar off, and now even Aemon can't control her. Luke flies through the storm into clear skies, and out of nowhere, Vhagar swoops in and crushes Arix and Luke. We see bits and pieces of Arix fall out of the sky as Aemon panics and realizes what he's done. The episode and the season ends with Daemon delivering the news of Luke's death to Rhaenyra. Fucking heartbreaking.
The whole thing gets eerie and shitty at the start. The Baratheon castle has a pretty gothic feel with the scenery of the storm in the backdrop. On top of that, Boros is kind of a dickhead, which aligns well with the Baratheon family tree. Pair all that with the fact that Aemon is still looking to settle the score, and it's not a good recipe. Interesting that the death was accidental though. It's telling that Vhagar was overcome with bloodlust, similar to his owner, and Luke's dragon was unable to control itself as well. This could be the symbolism of having two young sons entering a war that they're not fully ready to handle. This is going to have giant repercussions because it's essentially an act of war without true provocation. What's Aemon going to say? I didn't mean to murk the prince? That's not going to make Rhaenyra any less pissed.
And that does it for Season 1 of House of the Dragon. We'll be back for Season 2. It's been a long journey. It's been a great journey, but I need to go to bed. Talk to you guys later.